Have you ever wondered what that squiggly line is over the notes when you're playing? Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, this is what I'm talking about. Here we have in our first measure, as you can see, this squiggly line. Well, that's called a mordent, and it tells you to play a certain pattern of notes. Well, today I'm going to tell you how to play the mordent and some tips on how to do it. So let's get right on to the first topic. The first thing we're going to talk about is the mordent. As you can see here from this Wikipedia page I have up, we have the D here in the treble clef with the mordent on it. So what you can do, or how you play this, is you play the principal note. What is the principal note? Well, that's the note you're on. So, or the note that's, written underneath the mordent. So you play that note. You play a note, what we call an upper neighbor, which is the next scale note up. So in this case, E, and then back down to the principal note where you started, like that. Now, the thing about a mordent, and what you have to understand, is that the mordent needs to be finished when under whatever beat it's on. So I'm going to show you actually an example of that in a second. Having the mordent written out here, we're only taking a look here at this left example, D, E, D. That's what it would look like if you wrote it out. But I don't really like to think about it as a set rhythm. I just like to think about it that you want the mordent finished on the beat that you're on. I'm going to show you what I mean by that right now. Okay, so here we have our example where we have the mordent over this E here, and we have a C major chord. The E and the C major chord obviously hit on a beat 1. So what I was talking about earlier is, remember, since the mordent's written over the E, you're going to play E, the next scale note up, since we're in the key is C. It's going to be F and then E. So you're going to play it like this, just like that. But the thing is that when I get to that final note of the mordent, I want to be hitting that chord so that the mordent actually occurs on the beat, like that. So if I'm counting out loud, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. You don't want the mordent to take up too much time, because it becomes a whole different rhythm in and of itself. It's really got to be, it's an ornamentation, not so much a rhythm, like that. Same thing with like when doing trills. You want the trills to hit on the beat. Same kind of idea. All right, let's talk about another example. Okay, here we have another example. This time the mordent is over that last note. So just playing the right hand by itself. You got G, F, E, and then D. Well, the mordent's over D, right? So you play that D, E, D in place of that D. So you go G, F, E, D, D. And remember, that has to be super quick because that D still has to be on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. As you can see, I hit that last note of the mordent on beat 4. It wasn't late. It didn't hang around for too long. That's the way you want to do it. Now when I'm putting hands together, as soon as I hit this D down here, I do the mordent. So that's just how it works. Let's talk now about the inverted mordent. Okay, now we're going to talk about the inverted mordent. If you take a look at the example we did before with the mordent written over the C, take a look, or the D, look at the C next to it, right? It has a mordent like we're used to, but it has a slash down the middle. I'll give you a better look here in a second. This is an inverted mordent. So you just do the complete opposite of what you did a second ago. Instead of playing the note above, and then back to that note, you play the note below that note, the scale note below that note, and back to that note. Just like that. And here they have it written out for us again. Just like so. Okay, here we have the same exact example we had before, except now we have an inverted mordent. So the same principle applies where you're really trying to finish the mordent on the beat. But this time you're playing the note below, and then back to the note you started with. Like that. Now if I'm counting out loud, I still want to finish the mordent on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. It works exactly the same way, except it goes down and then back up. There's another kind of mordent. Well, it's not really called a mordent, but I think that it basically belongs in the same family. It's called the turn. Let's take a look at what that's about. Okay, Rich in the live stream asked Tim, when you say you have to play the next scale note up, let's say the key signature is E minor. When the principal note is E, then do you play F sharp? Yes. Since F sharp, oops, let me show you what I'm doing. The question was, if you're in E minor, I'll just do natural minor, has a sharp on the second note. And Richard's question was, if I had a mordent on the E, would I play F sharp or F? You would play F sharp. Now, if there was no F sharp in the key signature, it would be F instead. Okay, a turn is this symbol kind of thing. It looks like it's a crazy 8 or the infinity symbol or something like that. It is called a turn, which is kind of a combination of both a mordent and an inverted mordent. So what you do is that it can be written either on a note or between notes. I know more about how to play them on the note. But anyway, what you do is you start from the note above the note that's written. So here we have it written, if you take a look at the second example here, it's written over the D. So what you would do is you would play the C before it, and then during the turn, you play the note above the note you started on, that note, the principal note, the note below it, and then that note. So it goes note above, note, note below, note above. And it's called a turn because you go down and then you turn the other way. And that's how you would play that example. It also looks like you can place them between certain rhythms. So if you take a look here where you have the dotted quarter note C, normally this measure would be counted as 1, 2, and 3, 4. But this one with the turn in there, you're actually going to fit the turn in while you're holding out that C. I mean, you're going to have to come off the C to play it. So it's going to go 1 and 2, yeah, 1 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So it's going to be going 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Or then 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So that's how you do it. You play the note above, you play that note, you play the note below, and then back to that note. Just like that. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, so here we have the example where we have a turn on beat 1. I mean, you have a standard C major chord in the left hand, and then with your right hand without the turn, you have E, F, G, A on beats 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I have to fit this turn in on beat 1. Remember, if it's written on E, the turn, it's going to start from the note above, that note, the note below, and then back to that note. Like that. And it all has to hit on beat 1. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. So that's how you play a turn. There's also an inverted turn where you will do the exact opposite. You start below the note, or it would be like this: below the note, the note above, and back to the note. The inverted turn will look like this. So hold on, just give me a second. There we go. It looks exactly like the turn, but with a line through it, just like the inverted mordent. So that's hard to do after playing the regular turn. Just like that. So just like there's inverted mordents, there are also inverted turns as well. Okay, there's something there's something I really want you to do is I want you to take a look at this playlist on the channel page. And don't worry, I'll provide a link for you and something to click on. But I want you to really check out this music symbols and articulations playlist because it will really help build on what we talked about tonight. And you'll learn about all the other little symbols and details in your music. So thanks everybody for coming out, and I'll check you out for the next lesson. This has been Tim from Lessons on the Web.